Yeah, it's funny because chat was fucking trying to be like cashews. That seems like a slur. Anyway.
You really need to look up here other tweets. It's not jokes.
Cashews come from... I mean, I said it does sound like a slur a little bit. It sounds like a pejorative, but... Okay, part one. Let's fucking watch this shit, dude. Let's go. Come on.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's time in office has been marked by harassing of the House.
Oh, cashew means half Catholic, half Jewish. Cath Jew.
Hassle.
It's just like, I don't know. It's a term I learned in University of Miami. Yeah, we saw the full page ad. Boys, why are you sending the... Did you see this full page New York Times ad calling out celebs to condemn Hamas? Damn, my fucking own moderators... C-Mac is not even in here and doesn't know what the fuck's going on, dude. He's just sending me old ass links. Yeah, we did see this. Part two is so much better. Okay, we'll get to the part two part of this as well.
Thank you for
we're starting off with the view, boys. We're starting out with the view. But of course, before we full blown start off with the view, you already know what motherfucking time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's top of the hour. So I'm going to run a 60-second ad break here. If you'd like to no longer see the ads and you want to avoid them, you can subscribe. You can do that for $5 with a regular subscription. Wait, hold on. Why am I doing that without the accent? Hold on. If you'd like to no longer see the fucking ads, all you need to do is subscribe with your Twitch Prime. You get one free Prime subscription a month. And you can use that. You can use that for fucking free. No, that's not my old ad voice. My old ad voice is Irish. This is Scottish. Here's the fucking ad break now. I'm having too much fun with this one. Okay, let's keep going.
House members and being removed from committees for outrageous comments and embracing conspiracy theories. Well, last week she stayed on brand by comparing Speaker Pelosi's mask mandates to Nazis sending Holocaust victims to the gas chamber, and she's not sorry about it either. Take a look.
I said nothing wrong, and I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person doesn't like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates.
Okay, dude, how do you not recognize that, like, bro, the Holocaust wasn't a fucking inconvenience, okay? That's the problem. Why do people not understand this? Like, people get so mad at me whenever I make comparisons to Nazis that are completely valid because, like, it's nearly identical in terms of, like, the kind of fucking violence that whatever group is subjecting other marginalized communities to. For example, when I say, like, our detention centers and, like, what ICE does resembles Nazi Germany, and we have concentration camps for immigrants in this country, and it's fucking disgusting, right? Utilizing the history of the Holocaust effectively is acceptable in certain circumstances. That's why we say never again, right? We say never again because we don't want to repeat what happened in the Holocaust, right? Please. Never again doesn't mean like, oh no, it happened one time, so it'll literally never happen again. So never compare anything to the Holocaust. But then there's also the other side of this when you say, like, what Eve Barlow said, for example, where she was like, my migraine in a dark room reminds me of what Jews went through in the Holocaust. That's a joke. That is a ridiculous thing to say, but I have the brain power to understand that that's clearly a fucking joke, right? Made by a Jewish person. It's valid. Like, you get mad at that, but ultimately, like, that's a joke. This is ridiculous. Comparing the Holocaust to mask mandates is fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe she's saying this. I think the Jewish space laser shit, that's way worse than just being like, you know, the mask mandate is resembling the Holocaust. Everyone does this all the time. Everyone does this shit all the time. Everyone makes comparisons to the Holocaust on whatever like suits them or doesn't suit them. But this one is like ridiculous. Like this is so ridiculous that it's like, it's kind of anti-Semitic, okay?
And overbearing vaccine policies.
I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a Titan. So, you know, she's oppressed enough as a Titan. So I guess like it's, I'm just going to go easy on her. You know what I mean? I mean, she's literally a Titan. Like they've been purged from the inner walls of whatever the Attack on Titan city is. You know what I mean? Like they've been pushed away. I think that was the fucking AOT. Marjorie Titan Greene. Yeah, put all the Eldrians on an island. Did I get that right? I don't know. Are the Titans the ones that are oppressed, or are they doing the oppression?
Yankees.
Or you kind of recognize that they are the ones that are being fuck it. I'm giving you spoilers, whatever. The Holocaust was about murdering a group of people, and mask mandates are about preventing illness. So I see how they are comparable. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually very similar when you think about it. But don't think about it too much, because then you'll realize that it's not similar at all.
This is from the woman whose party stands with Israel. So where are all her colleagues telling her that she's minimizing the horror of 6 million Jews being mass murdered by comparing it to wearing a piece of cloth over your face? Bih! What the hell? I mean, joy.
What the fuck? Did you just say bih? What the fuck? That's an audible bih, dude. That's crazy. That's wild. I did not think that I would hear that on the fucking View, dude. I think you can say bitch on you can say bitch on TV.
6 months, Pog.
But you know, that would have been a way bigger issue, because like angry black woman says white congressperson, a real American, is a bitch. Ooh, that would have been wild.
Is this finally going to turn the tide on Greene? Are her people going to finally stand up and say, shut up and sit down? This is ridiculous.
I don't think so. I mean, Republicans didn't do anything when she called Jewish lasers the cause of wildfires in California.
Yeah, like,
for a year.
Bro, when you fucking drop that, when you drop the Jewish space laser line, like, it's over, dude. It's kind of hard for you to come back from that to be like, I am the defender of Jews now. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
California, and when she liked, as they say, a Facebook post that said that they should put a bullet to Nancy Pelosi's head, 94 of the Republicans in the House voted not to do anything about her. And I must point out that when Ilhan Omar tweeted it was all about Benjamins, which I hated that, and I hate any kind of
Yeah, dude, that was so anti-Semitic. Yeah, very similar. Like saying that the Israeli lobby has a lot of power in Congress in a country where 35 states have like criticism of Israel bills that literally go against our First Amendment. Yeah, that's so crazy, man. That's very similar. That's very similar to saying like a Jewish space laser caused a fucking forest fire. What the fuck? Yeah, yep, there it is. That's a apples to apples comparison right there, dude. Yeah, you should never admit money is in politics. Well, no, the worst part about that is when you can admit that there is money in politics and lobbying groups have a profound amount of influence over Congress. You just can't admit when it comes to the Israeli lobby, which is fucking insane, because then it's automatically anti-Semitic. Like, shut the fuck up. And I said as much at the time. I covered that relentlessly as well, because I felt like no one was fucking defending Ilhan Omar. Anyway.
Keep rockin'.
Anti-Semitism from any party, at least in that situation, Pelosi...
We are going to get to the fucking anti-BDS bill, at least in Georgia. By the way,
2-month sub.
That's there was a big fucking dub. Shouts out to Abby Martin.
And the entire Democratic leadership condemned it. Kevin McCarthy is just sitting on his hands right now. You know, I mean, this is...
Bro, Kevin McCarthy literally ran ads showing George Soros and talking about immigrant caravans. It does not get more Nazi than this, okay?
Why did Palestine overthrow their government?
What else did Kevin McCarthy do? Hold on, Mr. Anti-Ilhan Omar, Kevin McCarthy. Like, hold on. Yeah. McCarthy rebuffs accusations of anti-Semitism in deleted tweet about Soros, Steyer, and Bloomberg. Widely condemned comments from Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar, blah, 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 blah. He said, we cannot allow Soros, Steyer, and Bloomberg to buy this election. Get out and vote Republican. Okay, I thought it was like linking them back to... Soros is like Steyer and Bloomberg. It kind of makes sense to say that about, because they are literally fucking billionaires that are buying their way into the election. Saying it about Soros, all of a sudden, though, kind of weird, okay? Look at all these Jewish elites. Look at all these fucking Jewish elites, bro. We can't let those Jewish elites buy. At least, like, add a fucking Christian in there or something to make it sound like you aren't, like, alluding to that shit. You know what I mean? Or at least, like, I don't know, take out Soros from the equation, who is not running at the time. But the other thing that Republicans do all the time, all the fucking time is like, they will straight up be like, George Soros is packing immigrant caravans, okay? They're packing immigrant caravans and sending them over the border. That is literal Nazi shit, okay? Nazis believe and have always believed that cultural Marxism, created in the Frankfurt School by a bunch of fucking Jewish academics, was going to destroy Western society through making everyone homosexual and making women free, okay? Educating people on you know, freedom of choosing, freedom of choice, freedom of, like, sexual liberation. All of that is going to degenerate Western society. And also, they want black and brown people, Jews, want black and brown people to come into the country and you know, that's what George Soros does. He's like puts people in caravans and like brings brown people in the country. So like that is a literal Nazi conspiracy that nearly every Republican repeats all the time, all the fucking time. Okay, that is straight up a Republican, regular Republican talking point. Yeah, because Nazis are worried about diluting the white race, whatever the fuck that is.
Why did Palestine overthrow their government in 2006? Who is Fatah?
So that shit is a regular, actual fucking Nazi conspiracy that Republicans engage in.
3 months, Pog.
It's not the map of fate. That was Republicans versus Democrats, he argued. Michael Bloomberg put $54 million in the campaign just in the last couple of districts, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so getting back to that, it's hilarious when you know, they fucking lose their shit over
Thanks for having me
over anti-Semitism and then do it themselves.
So that she can raise money for herself on the backs of Jews in this country. And as you say, they love Israel, but they don't like Jews, apparently. I don't even understand it. This woman is delusional and unhinged. She makes Michelle Bachmann look like Eleanor Roosevelt. Every time she opens her mouth, I just want to scream.
2 weeks ago, and you've been helping
right, Sarah, when you heard this, what was your thoughts?
One, not surprised, but a lot of thoughts came into mind. This was reductive, insulting, insensitive, awful. It seems like the more time that passes from when the Holocaust occurred, the more casually people use this to bat people over the head in arguments, which I find just so inappropriate. This was 6 million Jews were killed, in addition to other people.
Like, by the way, at this point, I would have been like, normally, thank you, Zarnik, for the 10 tier 1 gifts. At this point, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Are you cliff notesing the Holocaust? Like, literally everyone knows. Like, what the fuck? But then I found out that, like, a lot of Zoomers don't fucking know. Where is the, where, there was, like, a poll that came out that were just, like, half this, the stat that like half of American teens don't know about the Holocaust. Like, what the fuck's going on, dude? How do you not
convinced my Jewish family?
How do you not know about the Holocaust, dude?
They're acting like fascists. Thanks for the great content.
Maybe, and this is where I say, maybe the fucking Confederates are right that you actually do need monuments, dude. Brother, there ain't no Hitler statues. I don't know about the Holocaust. Literally, like, what the fuck? That is kind of wild.
What up, bitches?
I had to delete TikTok because of how dumb so many Zoomer conspiracies circulate on there.
People that were perceived as inferior. You had Slavic people, Germans with disabilities, homosexuals. This was meant to wipe out a people. There were medical experiments that were done that, you know, if you've read anywhere, you see the disturbing.
There are Holocaust monuments in Germany. I know. There are Holocaust monuments in America too. I'm joking. That's a joke. I don't think there should be statues of Hitler, my friend. This is so. One thing that we do here is make jokes. Okay. It's called a joke, and you go, haha, I get that. That's like kind of funny. I see what you did there. That's what you're normally supposed to do and laugh. You guys get mad, but like some people literally need to be educated on this, okay? I'm sorry. Anyway.
Inhumane treatment and then murder of people. By comparing something like this, you're minimizing the personal stories. There are still people alive that have ties as Holocaust survivors. And these weren't just anecdotal moments that you're reading that you have distance from. These are family members. These are lost generations.
Okay. I mean,
of lives. I think it doesn't surprise me, as Joy mentioned.
Like, what the fuck is... I don't care about this. I want to hear, like, what Meghan McCain has to say about this. Like, is she going to turn around and be like, yeah, that was terrible, but also, like, mask wearing is kind of like the Holocaust? Like, is she... How do you defend
This is a woman that did describe, like, a scientific event as space lasers. So coming from her, it's not shocking. It doesn't make it less offensive. I think it also reminds us of two very important things. The importance of education. I know she knows better, but to continue to educate people on the atrocities of our history, because otherwise they come back again. And that includes slavery in this country, and giving it its ample time when we teach young people, and also make sure we hold people accountable for rewriting history, like on January 6th. Because when you become Holocaust deniers and you shop in this stuff, it's dangerous.
Cheers to 4 more months.
Okay. Here's one thing I will say about Holocaust denial. It is oftentimes the easiest way to recognize that the person you're talking to is probably a fascist. Like, the moment, well, also, it's illegal in countries like Germany and France. But having said that, this is like one of the easiest ways to recognize that someone is a Nazi. Okay, straight up. Like, there are many different ways of doing it. People will sometimes like say, oh, the figures are disputed, like Holocaust revisionism. Not straight up denial, but like Holocaust revisionism is another way that you can recognize that you're probably dealing with a fascist. You know, the just asking questions, coincidences, that sort of fucking language. And it is certainly an easy way to recognize that the person you're dealing with is very likely a fucking fascist.
Thanks for the stream's hassle.
Auschwitz had pools. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the concentration camps were actually, if you want to know the kinds of Holocaust revisionism that Nazis engage in, literally look to what conservatives say right now about the atrocities that they commit, or the American state commits, or the Israeli state actually commits. It is literally identical. Holocaust revisionists will say, oh, well, they weren't concentration camps. They had pools. Like, come on. The situation that they were in, the Jews were in these concentration camps, like, that was, you know, that you're crazy. They were just like cleaning them in, they were cleaning their clothes in the gas chambers, like shit like that. You know, that's something that literally, what's her face? The fucking blonde Nazi on Fox News. I can't believe I'm not remembering. Not Tommy Lauren. That's exactly something that's identical to what she said about the child concentration camps that we have. Not Lauren Southern. No. The fucking Fox News one. Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham literally said that the concentration camps that we're putting immigrant undocumented children in resemble like actually you know, daycare and like a summer camp. She said that. She fucking literally said that. So remember that. You know, it's just, if you want to understand like how people if you want to understand how people lie about Holocaust revisionism, just listen to what conservatives currently say about current modern day atrocities.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sonny, this isn't the first time Greens made anti-Semitic comments. Are you surprised by this, or are you surprised by the response to it?
I'm sort of surprised at the lack of response to Marjorie Taylor Greene by the Republican leadership, because
why would you ever be surprised by that? Funny that you are now teaching us about how horrific the Holocaust when a portion of the left have been attacking Jews left and right. Sus, in my opinion. What? When a portion of the left have been attacking Jews left and right? What does that mean? Wait, what portion of the left? Funny, you are now teaching us about the Holocaust? Do you think I'm your school teacher, you fucking moron? I expect you to know about the Holocaust. And also, I've talked about the Holocaust a million fucking times on this broadcast. You know how much fucking anti-Nazi coverage I do on here to like pick apart Nazi arguments and alt-right arguments? You fucking shithead. Just because you started watching yesterday doesn't mean that I like haven't fucking talked about the Holocaust before. Dude, hey, guess what, dude? I was live yesterday as well. Maybe you didn't see. Maybe you lack object permanence. But if you've been fucking following me since November 14th, 2019, I'm sure you've probably seen my coverage on the Holocaust or Holocaust revisionism, Holocaust denial over and over again. Easy but stupid way to radicalize people. People just want something to blame when they're frustrated, doubt it will help them go. Just a thought. Bold of you to discuss war issues. By the way, has your supported candidate withdrawn troops from many of the areas where the U.S. murders? Oh, this guy is just like a fucking idiot. He just comes in here to like drop a couple idiotic lines and then run away. I'm gonna ban him for. I'm gonna protect him from being banned because he's Brazilian, though. Obviously. Despite the fact that he's a debate lord, he's from Brazil. Listen, dog, you have it hard enough as it is. Okay, you can stay. You know, you suffer enough. Okay, here I'll save you here this time. Yeah, imagine living in Brazil, dude. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It's hard enough as it is.
Education. Thank you, Professor Hassan.
That's kind of classist. No, that's not. It's not classist.
Not only has she made anti-Semitic comments before, we've all talked about the Jewish laser beam comments. I mean, she's also just routinely targeted marginalized communities and the representatives of those marginalized communities. Remember, even before she was a member of Congress in 2018, when you had Congresswomen Tlaib and Omar elected to Congress, which they were the first two Muslims represented in Congress. I mean, that was a monumental moment.
I wonder how funny this would be if you were the one in Brazil I mean, people from Brazil routinely make fun of how terrible the conditions are in Brazil. So that's the joke. It's not coming out of a place of hatred. It's like understanding and yeah, no, it's dark humor, making fun of a shitty situation that you're in. Also, I come at it from the point of view of someone who lived in Turkey, which, you know, you also make fun of Turkey and the USA. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, hold on. No. Oh fuck. I did the #1 error, dude. I criticized Brazil. Uh-oh. I criticized Brazil thinking that this was a leftist community and you know, we could have an opportunity to make jokes, forgetting that you know, you never upset the Brazilians. You don't upset the Turks on the internet, and you don't upset the Brazilians, you don't upset the Albanians, okay? Very similar personalities. I forget someone who said once, like, someone tweeted out saying, like, I love shitting on Turkish people on the internet because they don't like go and do this like bullshit like, oh wow, you're really you know, you're really advocating for my trauma to continue, like you're advocating for intergenerational trauma to continue upon Turkish people. They just go, suck on this mother bitch, fuck you, you are shit of the dog. Like immediately. They're like, fuck you, shit of the dog. They don't do that fucking lame ass like, oh my god. And Brazilians are similar too. It's like, oh, you are shit on Brazil. You are shit on Brazil. I tell you what. You come to Brazil. I show you. I show you how to shit on Brazil. Brazil #1. Same accent? That was not. Yeah. Chupa meu ovo. Chupa meu ovo. You come to Brazil right now. That's not the same as Arabs, dude. Arabs. Chupa meu ovo is suck my balls, right? That's what it is. Suck my ball. Did you just mention Albanians? Do you have a problem with me? Albania #1, bro. Fuck you.
And she said at that time, I believe, that there was an Islamic invasion of our government. Once she became a congresswoman, she harassed Representative Newman by putting up a hate sign in front of her office targeting Representative Newman's trans daughter. She's stalked and been so aggressive to Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. She targeted Congresswoman Cori Bush, so much so that this congresswoman felt unsafe and had to move her office. And then even her aides act inappropriately in an aggressive manner, basically stalking and attacking Congressman Swalwell for wearing a mask. And that went just unreported. And so, you know, it's really up to, I think, Republican leadership like Kevin McCarthy.
She's literally just like a demon, dude. She is kind of like a titan. Like, it feels weird, like, she just can't fucking stop herself from just being gross all the time. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it does feel like she can't control her urges as a titan. It's pretty funny. Anyway, we're gonna let's keep going,
because at this point Marjorie Taylor Greene is the face of the Republican Party, and because it's a big tent party, she is welcome, and Liz Cheney is not.
Right. So Megan, I mean, have you? What are your thoughts on this? Are you trying to figure out, like I think I am, why there's no one saying, hey, why her own party isn't dragging her in, saying, listen, you can't do this?
Well, I mean, I can't stand Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's a crazy person. I've said that over and over again. But she has been stripped of her committees. She has absolutely no legislative power in Congress whatsoever, which juxtaposed when Ilhan Omar said that Jewish people had hypnotized the world and it was all about the Benjamins. She's still on the Foreign Relations Committee, and she's able to dictate our foreign policy in the United States of America. So what do you expect Republicans to do? I think that's taking a lot more action against a crazy person than I would say the Democrats are doing on the left. I'm confused what has risen this to a hot topic this week, because last week, as I brought up on Friday, there's a huge rise in anti-Semitic attacks against Jewish people globally and in our own country. In Los Angeles, a group of pro-Palestine anti-Semites showed up to a sushi restaurant and said, "Who was Jewish here?" and then began.
Ilhan Omar should be stripped of her committee positions for the actions of Marjorie Taylor Greene. What the fuck? Yeah, dude, you're right. She said Israel has hypnotized the world. I mean, listen. I talked about that before. Like, one, it's she's saying Israel, but it doesn't matter. She's using hypnotism. Like, it's sus, okay? It's sus, but it doesn't fucking matter. It was a long ass time ago. She's obviously not fucking anti-Semitic. Shut the fuck up.
Happy 6 months.
Wasn't that? I mean, it's more of a. I would attribute that to ESL for sure. That's not what she said, brother. I think she said isn't that what she said like way back in the day? But the new shit that they launch against her is bullshit. Like, the new shit that they launch against her is fucking bullshit. And she also apologized for it, too. Like, what do you want? As I was saying, she literally campaigned for a Jewish man to be president. I mean, yeah. But, again, that doesn't matter because they think... A lot of people think Bernie's not, like, a real Jew because he's fucking critical of Israel. So... You said Israel has hypnotized the world? Yes, Israel has hypnotized the world even though she's saying Israel, she's not saying Jews hypnotize the world. She's saying Israel hypnotized the world, but it doesn't matter because Israel is still, you know, a Jewish nation state, and then hypnotism is like classic fucking Nazi shit to say like, is hypnotism a Jewish conspiracy type thing? I've never heard of that. Listen, I said it. Yeah, she said it in 2012. Let me just say something. I've talked about this before. You have to separate Zionism from Judaism, okay? These two things should not be married. Nazis married the two so they can justify their fucking anti-Semitic points of views. And also Zionists married the two to be like, oh, you're being anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. Okay? So, I've said this already. I have a higher metric. Like, I have a higher barrier for Muslims that are criticizing Israel. It's just the truth. If you are a Muslim person living in the West and you're criticizing Israel, you have to be extra careful. Okay? Sorry. It's just the fucking truth. That's precisely what I said about the foreign minister as well. And you should know better. And you shouldn't use things that could easily be weaponized against you that will devalue your cause. And also because like anti-Semitism is a real problem and you don't want to even have the appearance of like legitimizing anti-Semitic tropes. Everyone on the show is more anti-Semitic than Elon fucking Whoopi Goldberg and her fake ass last name for a joke. Don't even get me started on McCain. Wait, really? I never thought about that. What really? Whoopi Goldberg's last name is to like make fun of Jewish people or something? Whoopi claims to be Jewish? Wait, what? I don't know. I don't know anything about
12-month pogo.
Shut the fuck up.
Live for the next 7 generations.
Apparently Gal Gadot is hosting a Nat Geo series about indigenous people being displaced. No shot.
We live for the next 7 generations. Everything we do and everything we don't do impacts the next 7 generations. This way of life has been passed down to Chief Shirel from her ancestors, whose land is being lost to climate change. Committed to leaving the world a better place, she's leading the fight to protect the environment and all generations to come.
There's no shot. Is this a parody, dude? I mean, if the focus is just like climate change, it's still kind of weird that like...
Why?
It's very weird that like Gal Gadot... What the fuck? Why is Gal Gadot talking about... Yo, that is... What the fuck, dude? Is Gal Gadot a Zionist? Yes. This is some... This is wild.
If you keep your...
Yeah, it's not... Yeah. Here we have the Middle East where displacement is happening, one, as a consequence of climate change, and also Israel, which is also another term for climate change for Palestinians.
Your mouth shut, the prettier you look. That was a phrase that I was told a lot.
Some people can look and just say, wow, why don't y'all move? You can't. You don't know.
She is a staunch defender of Israel, a Zionist, and was a member of the IDF, which is understandable. Every person is, there's forced conscription. So like, you know, if you're an Israeli citizen and you grew up in Israel, like, yeah, of course you're going to do the IDF. That does not mean that you presently and currently have to be a supporter or defender of the Israeli state in the way that it exists currently and the oppression that it engages in. I've talked about this already. Fuck that shit. Not an excuse. Nah, dude. Listen, I am of the mindset that it is. I'm of the mindset that, look, I celebrate veterans who recognize the actions that they engaged in the fucking Middle East, and especially if they come back and they're like, "What the fuck do we do? This was terrible," and dedicate their lives to, you know, ending wars and ending American imperialism. If you join the IDF, especially because like you will literally go to jail if you don't fucking join the Israeli Defense Force. Like you serve a 6 months jail sentence if you don't go. Like, then yeah, you join the IDF, you commit atrocities on behalf of the state of Israel against Palestinians. You recognize how terrible that is, and you fucking get out of that propaganda space and you work against it, then I'm gonna fucking celebrate you. I don't, the things that you have done in the past, it's a year and a half. Oh shit, my bad. The things that you have done in the past should not define your point of view in the future. Everyone has the capacity to grow, no matter how fucking horrible this shit was. So you're okay with being a Nazi? So being a Nazi was okay if you were conscripted? No, being a Nazi, if you're conscripted and then literally changing and recognizing this is terrible and changing sides and working actively against Nazis is not going to be like, oh, wow, I can't believe you were a Nazi at some point.
With who?
You're missing the second part of what I'm saying. My criticisms of Gal Gadot is not around the fact that she was IDF. My criticism of Gal Gadot revolve around the fact that she consistently and continues to defend the actions of the IDF. You get it? As a veteran, fuck that shit still. Wait, is this the Taylor Swift account? This was dope, by the way. Yeah, there was a Taylor Swift Stan account. I remember, like, there was a Taylor Swift Stan account that was managed by an Israeli Jew who wasn't around for a while. Okay, who was not around for a while, and then she, like, out of nowhere comes back and is like, "Sorry, I haven't been posting. Sorry, I have not been posting because I served a jail sentence for refusing to You're refusing to join the IDF. People aren't statistics, they are people. It wasn't real. Oh my god. Wait, really? I thought it was real. Anyway, no, there are Israeli Jews who were like refuse to serve in the IDF, and then they just go they go to jail. Like they throw them in jail.
אני יודע שאתם מתפללים, אתם אומרים אללה אכבר. נכון? אתם מתפללים, אתם אומרים אללה אכבר.
That is what the fuck is this?
אתם אומרים אללה אכבר.
You say that Allah is the greatest?
אתם מתפללים, אתם אומרים אללה אכבר. אתם צריכים
What
להגיד
you should be saying is Israel is the greatest?
אללה אכבר.
You should be praying, saying Israel Akbar. Okay, bro. Dude, there's a lot to cover today. So, oh no, it is real, dude. Yeah, look, chat. Why did you guys say that was fake? The Taylor Swift Stan account took a. Why did you say it was fake? It is real. Okay, stop. Stop making a pun about Israel sounding a lot like it is real. Yeah. I remember like reading an article about it, but anyway, this Taylor Swift Stan account took a stand in solidarity with Palestinians today 2 years ago. The 19-year-old Israeli girl behind Legit Tay Updates was released from prison after refusing to join the Israeli military. During a 2-month sentence, she still gave updates from the inside. Update, as most of you know, I haven't been very active in the past couple of months because I was in prison. I'm back now, though. More Taylor Swift updates coming soon. OMG, why? I refuse to join the IDF, LMAO. I'm still in prison, LMAO. But I asked a visiting friend to post this. Can y'all stop making comments on Taylor's body? She'll let us know when/if she's pregnant. Calm down. Yo, that is so good. She got suspended from Twitter. I wonder why. That's so good. Come on, dude. That's fucking awesome. Based.
Thank you for making me significantly more informed for the past 7 months. You are so appreciated.
Glenn Greenwald had a good take on this. Having your office building blown to smithereens by an Israeli military with 1 hour notice, and then later firing a junior reporter for the crime of having spoken out against repression and aggression by that same military is like Stockholm Syndrome on steroids. AP spokesperson responds to the open letter signed by more than 100 AP staffers criticizing how the company fired Emily Wilder for violating its social media policy. The Associated Press looks forward to continue the conversation with staff about AP social media policy. For your information, the news leadership team sent out a note about this AP Global News staff on Saturday. It's worth noting that our long-standing social media policy is negotiated with the News Media Guild, which represents AP's U.S. news staffers. I'd point out, too, that AP did not choose to name Amy Wilder publicly, as the letter states. As we said, every AP journalist is responsible for safeguarding our ability to report with fairness and credibility. Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, I don't want this to happen, but like every fucking person that is like has defended the actions of Israel or celebrated that like someone is joining the fucking IDF or whatever should be fired too then by that metric. Just for the sake of like for the sake of fairness, like if you ever posted anything on social media that says like Israel deserves to fucking wipe out Palestinians wholesale, which they do within their coverage, like, then yeah, that they should be fired then, I guess. Which I don't want that. I do not want that to happen. I think that's ridiculous. My ex was Israeli and she never did her military service. She has to travel with both her Israeli and American passport while carrying a special note saying she's been given liberty to travel, but she loses it if she goes to jail for not serving. Yeah, it's the same in Turkey. But sometimes there will be pardons, basically, off and you can pay if you have like specific background, like specific qualities, like you can avoid military service in Turkey as well. I have conscription as well. I did not serve in the Turkish military because I grew up in, or not grew up, but I lived in America for an extended period of time after I grew up in Turkey. And then I had a job here. I think if you maintain a job in the United States of America for like 2 to 3 years, you can literally pay to not serve in the military. Qualities like rich, yes, if you're rich, you can avoid service as well. A lot of rich Turkish people literally do this. I wanted to join the Turkish military just to see what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? And my dad was literally like, I will disown you if you join the Turkish military.
YouTube Froggy finally catching a stream.
Like, straight up. And he's fucking conservative, too. So it's kind of sus that he was just like... Genuine question, do Kurds also serve by conscription?
Holy shit.
Yeah, everyone. Every... Like... Okay. Kurdish people... The largest population of Kurdish people living inside of Turkish borders live in Istanbul. Like, I think it might even be like the most amount of Kurds living all around the world in one area. They live in Istanbul. So, yes, they serve in the Turkish military as well. Like, there is everyone serves in the Turkish military. If you're an able-bodied male over the age of 18, unless you go to college, in which case, like, your military service is reduced. But if you don't go to college after high school, you're supposed to serve. This is a tangent, but how do you feel about conscription or at least mandatory civil service in the U.S.? Conscription is a nationalist project. It really is. It beefs up nationalism. It's part of the reason why countries with conscription have like higher rates of nationalism. Military, just like public school education, is a reinforcement of nationalist, ideas. So I feel conflicted about it. I don't like it. It brings discipline though. What about conscription into a civil service job outside of the military? How does it work if you're a dual citizen in the U.S. and Turkey? They try to draft you at the same time, like due to a global war. I think before that point, you make choices. Do you think the Kurds deserve a state? Yes. Public schools, why? Guys, Common Core and public school education is still, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't even think that that is a bad thing. I think that like there needs to be some level of cohesive identity in the absence of like a full-blown international abolition of states or a complete change of the way we understand states, even though I am an advocate for free travel. Yes, that's what the Common Core public education is supposed to instill in you. Every country does this. Like a curriculum that everyone learns. It's like teaching you an identity. My friend had to serve in South Korea. Super interesting hearing his stories. And most countries that like border with hostile nations will have forced conscription. What are Kurds and why do they not have a state? Legit, I don't know. Kurdish people are one of the largest ethnic groups that, if not the largest ethnic group in the world that does not have a nation state of themselves. They have historically been, historically been marginalized by the other dominating imperial powers in the region. And they are to this day still very much dominated. It is the largest, right? There's 34 million Kurds who have an ethnic background, a different language that they speak, and they have no state for themselves. They have no nation state for themselves. So They live within the boundaries and borders of Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq, Turkey. Pretty much there. They're mostly in, or not Afghanistan, actually, not a lot of Kurds in Afghanistan, but like mainly in Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. And isn't it illegal to speak Kurdish in Turkey? No, no, not anymore. The Turkish government throughout history has definitely violently suppressed Kurdish ethnic identities and tried to erase. Yeah, when I say not anymore, I mean that's what I'm talking about. Like throughout history, Kurdish education is not allowed. There were bombing campaigns that occurred, and they still happen. For the record, like Kurdish people are still displaced in the areas that they live in, especially in the, like, it's weird, in the southwestern region, or southeastern region, sorry, not southwestern region, in the southeastern regions where a lot of Kurdish people live, that area is like literally treated like a conflict zone, like a war zone, where the military police is in charge of everything, and there is literally like ongoing fucking war between PKK or other militant Kurdish revolutionary groups against the Turkish military, and there's like bombing campaigns that occur when tensions flare up, where the Turkish government will literally just bomb the shit out of a fucking village or engage in like mass displacement of Kurds in that regard. So, why aren't Turks based? If the new conservative lib wins, how would he help the Kurds? I don't really know. I think Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu is actually more woke on the Kurdish stuff than most other Turkish politicians, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they use that as like in Turkey, they literally use his opinions on Kurds as a like they use that against him, basically. But are Kurdish people considered a Turkic or a Persian people group? Is Kurdish intelligible from Turkish? I don't know. Actually. Kılıçdaroğlu is Alevi himself. Yeah, there's another subgroup that is religious here, which is Alevi people. God, how do I fucking... This shit is so... Like, the historical background, like, describing to you the historical background of this shit is, like, impossible. Because there's, like... It's like fucking Pokemon, dude. There's so much shit going on. Okay, so... There's the Alevi people, and there's a big group of Kurds that are Alevi, which is a different sect under Islam, okay? It is a Shia sect, right? Alevi's like, I mean, it's still Hazreti Ali, so it's like it's a Shia sect, technically. And Turkey is predominantly Sunni, okay? So Turkey is Sunni Muslims, whereas Alevis are Shia Muslims. And there is a lot of tension and constant war between the Shias and Sunnis. Yeah, Alawite, is that how you say it in English? I have no idea. And in Turkey, Alevis have been fucking brutalized, like incredibly aggressively. And Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu himself is Alevi, so that's something that they use against them. Tanki bir solcu olarak diyorum ki abinin Murat Ökü'ne, ben Gazi Mahallesi'nde büyüdüm, amına koyayım ya. Alayının anasını sikerim bunların. Kurdish is an Indo-European language related to Persian that is unrelated to the Turkic languages and unintelligible.
Hello chat, love you all.
My mom's side is primarily Kurdish. It isn't mutually intelligible. My mom's side is also Alevi. It actually prevented my parents from getting married. Wild stuff. Yeah. So.
Top of the hour every hour, ladies and gentlemen.
Where else? Where else was I going? Where was I going with this?
Healing.
Why did I start talking about Kurdish people in Turkey? I totally forgot.
7 months, boys.
The Kurds also have an ongoing revolution centered around women's liberation and communal direct democracy. Yes, there is a sect of Kurdish revolutionaries that do engage in this. Actually, a lot of Kurdish militias do have female fighters, and it's very based and very Marxist in many ways, in many respects. And then there are Kurdish militias that do not do that at all. But remember when people's biggest criticism of George Bush was that he dodged the draft? No, Sikhs are not Muslim at all, dude. What the fuck?
Hey, Hassan, thanks
no,
for
that is
streaming.
entirely separate than Sunnis and Shias. Oh, we were talking about military. We were talking about conscription and mandatory military service, and someone asked like if Kurds serve in the military, but yes, they do. In Iraq, they have an autonomous region. The Kurds have an autonomous region in Iraq that was carved out for them by the American government. Rojava is the separate ANCOM project that I've talked about before that that unfortunately will never be a reality because America will never, ever, ever allow there to be a communist nation state in that region. Alevis and Alawis are not the same. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that maybe that's how you say it in English. Can you explain why Turks aren't Arab? Turks are Turkic. They come from the Asia Minor. They are a nomadic people that traveled all the way, that make up like a bunch of different ethnic backgrounds from that region. That is why they're not Arab. That's why we are whiter, for example. Like the Mongolian Empire. That or Central Asia. But because the Ottoman Empire, which is like, the Ottoman Empire was so vast and so powerful, but spanned across so much land and so much territory with so many different ethnic backgrounds that in many ways, with respect to the time and place in comparison to other empires, was more tolerant to marginalized communities. Still not, obviously. I'm not saying they were fucking woke, but they were more woke in comparison to like other nations that colonized and had colonies. There is a lot of mixing. So Turkish people are from a million different backgrounds. You know, in some ways it's like, how do I describe it? In some ways, like, Turkish people are like what America would look like in 100 years if it hasn't fallen apart, or if like Nazis haven't completely taken over. Like, everyone in Turkey is technically a mutt. There is no like pure Turkish person. You know what I mean? Stop with that shit. I'm losing respect for you when you speak like that for the Ottomans. I mean, that is I'm repeating a historical fact to you. Beyond taxation and beyond like additional taxes for people who weren't Muslim, and just basically admitting that Islam is the greatest, they just let people do their own thing instead of like forcibly fucking erasing the jizyat, forcibly erasing their people's identities or religious practices. Not only that, but like especially as far as like, this is of course comparing the Ottoman Empire to like what the British did or what Christian colonizers did. That's the, you know, besides the religious discrimination, they were real swell dudes. Dog, we're talking about history, dude. Like, if you apply, like, I apply today's mentality to actions of the past all the time when I'm talking about history, and I make normative statements regularly. Okay? Having said that, I literally just qualified my statement with a in comparison to